Marvel Studios' very first X-Men movie to take place in the MCU now has a working title. And this working title could reveal some pretty big details about what Marvel Studios has planned for their first X-Men film, including what the title could possibly be. What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the Cosmic Wonder. We have lots of X-Men news and other Marvel news to break down in this video. Starting with the new X-Men movie that is going to be coming after Avengers Secret Wars. We don't have an exact date for this movie yet. However, Marvel Studios president Kevin Feige did say that Avengers Secret Wars will directly set up the mutant era in the MCU. So right after Avengers Secret Wars, we go right into the X-Men, which will most likely release July 23rd of 2027 or November 5th of 2027, because those are the dates that Marvel currently has listed for new movies. And for the working title of the new X-Men film, Alex Perez from the CosmicCircus.com has reported that its working title is Chunnel. Chunnel is a nickname for the Channel Tunnel, a 32-mile long railway connecting England and France beneath the English Channel. But what does this mean for the X-Men? Well, like I said, it could tell us a lot about the plot, but also about the name of the official X-Men movie. The tunnel has appeared in Marvel Comics 8 times, but specifically linking to the X-Men, it was used in New X-Men 129 to 130, a plot which had to do with Weapon X. New X-Men 129 to 130 introduced the powerful mutant known as Phantom X. And Phantom X is a very interesting character. He is actually kind of part Sentinel. He consists of techno-organic organisms that are fused with Sentinel nanotechnology. Phantom X is originally created by the Weapon X program to serve as a super Sentinel. He was literally designed to go and hunt mutants. However, he manages to escape the Weapons Plus program. When he escapes, he seeks a safe haven at the X Corporation in Paris, in which he runs into Professor X and Jean Grey, and he claims to be a mutant thief. But what's interesting is that he wears a ceramic mask that keeps Professor X and Jean Grey from being able to read his mind, so they don't actually know if he is who he claims to be. But despite this, Professor X and Jean Grey do take him in, and then he tells them that he has some valuable information about the Weapons Plus program. He says that he got it in the Channel Tunnel, and he'll sell it to them for $1 billion. Man's a hustler. But him, Professor X, and Jean Grey end up going back to the Chunnel. They do this to go kill Weapon 12. So they go into the Chunnel and they find Weapon 12, they defeat him, but they also notice that there were 2 transport tubes, one for Weapon 12 and another one for Weapon 13, but they have not seen Weapon 13. However, Phantom X's mask manages to slip up just a little bit, which allows Jean Grey to read his mind and discover that he is in fact Weapon 13. But she ultimately agrees to let him go and sort of disappear before anybody else arrives. And this all happens in the Chunnel, the working title for the new X-Men film. So, as you can see, there's a lot there that could be involved with the plot of the new X-Men movie. They could involve the Weapons Plus project, they could involve Weapon X itself, they could involve the Sentinels since he was designed to be a super Sentinel, or perhaps it doesn't have to do with that specific story at all, but more about where the story comes from. The new X-Men. That could be the main title for the new X-Men movie that is coming from Marvel Studios, which would make a lot of sense. If there's one thing that we know about Kevin Feige is that he likes to differentiate the projects that he is doing right now in the MCU from other projects that we've already seen before. He did this with Spider-Man. He didn't tell us the origin story of Spider-Man. The reason he did this is because he said, everybody already knows it. They don't need to tell that story again, and they don't need to do the same thing that everybody else has done in the previous movies. The same thing goes for the new Fantastic Four film. They aren't telling a true origin story of the Fantastic Four, and the movie is set in another universe. The reason he does that is to differentiate his projects and to make them feel fresh and new. He doesn't want people expecting the same thing that we've seen before, which is why I wouldn't put it past Kevin Feige to name the new X-Men film The New X-Men. We do also have another theory about what Chunnel could specifically mean for the new X-Men film. And I think that this could be the reason Marvel Studios has decided to give the X-Men film the working title of Chunnel. It all has to do with Krakoa, the mutant sanctuary. Krakoa is connected to the world by a tunnel. So Chunnel could be referring to Krakoa, a huge part of the X-Men and Charles Xavier's story. One of the biggest plot points and stories for the X-Men is that the people, the humans, don't accept them and are afraid of them. And the X-Men just want to live in equality with everybody else of the world. Well, most of them. And in the comics, Professor X is ultimately able to repurpose Krakoa into a sovereign nation state for mutants. Another interesting fact about Krakoa and how it could relate to the new X-Men film is that when Charles Xavier turns it into a sovereign nation and it begins to evolve, Professor X has a secret space where him, Moira Taggart, and Magneto get together and plan things in private. And based on what we've heard about the new X-Men film so far, right now, Marvel Studios is casting for Professor X and Magneto. Those are apparently primary characters Marvel wants to focus on for the new X-Men movie. So perhaps in the new film, as they dive into maybe humanity not accepting the mutants, they could go to Krakoa and feel safe, and we'll witness Magneto and Professor X being friends at first. Hopefully, we start at the beginning and see a lot of the stories that we want to see play out throughout a decade for X-Men and mutant movies in the MCU. Now, speaking about Sentinels, we have some more leaked photos from Avengers Doomsday showing us some destroyed Sentinels. Right now on the set of Avengers Doomsday, they are filming some major X-Men scenes. When the set was first being built, we heard that there was going to be a spaceship on the scene, and we also saw that there was a lot of destruction and debris on the scene. Now, as they fill out the set even more, in the midst of that destruction and debris, we see many different pieces of a single destroyed Sentinel or multiple destroyed Sentinels. We got a few photos the other day, but now we have a much better look, and it does officially confirm this is indeed a Sentinel, which most likely means one of two things. The first being that the X-Men and the X-Mansion, which is said by the insiders who are providing the leaked pics and videos, is being attacked. So a Sentinel attack would certainly make sense considering the history of Sentinels throughout the history of the X-Men. However, I now wonder if Dr. Doom has somehow managed to control the Sentinels and he is using them to attack the X-Mansion and the X-Men. Or is Dr. Doom not even involved in this scene yet, and they are simply giving us a glimpse into the world of these new X-Men that we're about to come in contact with and be introduced to, or reintroduced to. Now, the other thing this could mean is that somehow, perhaps, the X-Men might actually have Sentinels, and when Dr. Doom comes, they try to use Sentinels to fight him, but Dr. Doom, being the main villain of Avengers Doomsday, is too powerful for them, and he destroys the Sentinels. The first option, I would say, is more likely. I wouldn't put it past Doom to manage to get control of the Sentinels somehow and attack the X-Men to try and get them out of his way. But Kevin Feige giving us a glimpse into what these X-Men were dealing with on their universe also does make a lot of sense, because mind you, we haven't seen some of these OG X-Men in a very long time, and this most likely is going to be a universe that we really haven't seen before, so it would kind of make sense to give us just a little bit of a reintroduction to them. So lots of things happening on the X-Men front, with a new X-Men and the OG X-Men that are going to be appearing in Avengers Doomsday and Avengers Secret Wars. Go ahead and let us know what you think about this recent Marvel news in the comments down below. It's a great time to be a Marvel fan, so be sure to subscribe so you don't miss out on any of the latest news, rumors, or leaks. You can find us on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, Facebook, and Snapchat, and as always, thank you all so much for watching. Woof woof.